Yeah. Tell me about the project you have working on right now. Like, what book are you currently working on right now? That's a new story.
Oof. Well, I'm working on the big one for me is the King of Erotica 6, which comes out in March, and the King of Erotica 7, which is my autobiography called Pharaoh. So I have 4 different photo shoots coming up for the King 7 by itself. I'm wearing Michael Jackson Thriller jacket on one cover, the Beat It jacket on another one, the Another Part of Me shirt he had on in the video on another, and the 4th book cover is going to have me painted in all black with purple contact lenses. My hair going to be dyed blonde, and it's going to be called Pharaoh, kind of like Precious, but called Pharaoh, the King of Erotica 7. So that's a big book for me because that's the one everyone wants. I'm going to talk about the rapes I went through in detail, the suicide attempts, the didn't want to be black, sleeping with people twice my age when I was a teenager, didn't want to be gay, tried to kill myself over that, my struggle with God, do I believe in him or not, my sexual escapades when I did porn 6 years ago to save and raise money to have my own publishing company because publishing houses wouldn't publish my work. So I kind of took destiny into my own hands and did what I had to do to get to where I need to be. So this is a big book for me because it can potentially destroy my family. But right now at this point in my life, I don't care because my story needs to be told, and I'm going to tell it because there are other people out there that have gone through what I went through and don't have a voice, and they need to know that they can get through anything and still be successful because I did it. So those are the projects I'm working on right now.
Okay. Now, a lot of your stories was on BGC. That's how actually I found out about you was on BGC. And I read a lot of them. Some of them are like, wow, I'm reading it. I'm like, it's like the kind of stories that once you start reading it, you can't stop until you get through the whole thing. So
yeah.
Is that how you... It is.
Thank you. Those stories were written off the dome. I didn't really have a plot for those stories. It was kind of like I got my start on BGC as far as the first time I ever publicly put my stuff on a forum. It was on BGC 5 years ago, and a site called Thug World 2000 that was big back in that time. Both of those sites I actually started, put my short stories on there, so I already had a fan base. When I became a bestseller, I kind of stopped. But when I did A Lonely Christmas this past Christmas and The Hustler, which was #1 for 15 days, but it just dropped to #2, which is cool because I don't care about rankings. I just care about the story. It was just an accident-type story. I wanted to pay homage to get my start on BGC, so I was just going to write one little short story, like 2 chapters, that's it. A Lonely Christmas was #1 for 30 days straight and over 65,000 reads. I was like, oh, my God. It literally blew through the roof. So now I just completed book 3. So I actually wrote book 1, book 2, book 3 for the past week. The second week of January I was finished. So in August I'm releasing A Lonely Christmas book 1 through 3 together as a trilogy to pay homage. I dedicated it to BGC and all the aspiring writers. So that book is actually done. I wasn't supposed to write that book. It was an accident book. People just loved it. So I was like, why not? Why not write this book? About the DL NFL player. And, I know a DL NFL player I was in a relationship with. So that book kind of surrounds that crazy relationship I was in with him. So I'm putting that out in August.
Nice. Damn it, I can't think of the name, but there's a new story on BGC that I was reading, and I haven't finished reading it yet.
Oh, that I wrote?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I know I got The Hustler on there. I got some DICK, which I don't want to say that word. Chocolate Email, A Lonely Christmas is on there again. I think I got 5. Reality TV, that's a deep one. People want that a book because that deals with how this guy killed his lover, poisoned him after he basically lost his family over this guy. And then this guy turned around after he married him and cheated on him with his boss. And it was a very, very deep. Even BGC administration hit me up about that one. They was like, oh, my God, you're just brilliant. So I was like, thank you. So they want me to make that a book, but I don't know. I'm still debating should I make that a book. And I already wrote 115 books. So it's like, damn, I mean, how many more books do I need to write?
Exactly. Okay, when you're starting to write about something, like when you're starting a brand new story, what's your thought process? What
My thought
ideas?
process. For one, I don't pre-write anything. I sit behind the computer and I write. I have Rhythm Nation pumping in my ear, and I write. Because I do this 14 hours a day. This is all I know. I've conditioned myself since I was a small child. I read a lot. I research encyclopedias, thesauruses. I play with words like I play with myself. I treat my books like I treat my body. If I want to bring my body a certain type of pleasure, I do a certain type of thing to it. I do the same thing with my writing. If I want a certain type of stimulation or a certain type of verbal orgasm, I write it a certain way. So I read a lot of books because I deviate from what they've done, so nobody can say, "Oh, I wrote this kind of stuff," or "Oh, you copying me." No, I read books, so I deviate from it and I create. But what I do is a storyboard, kind of like if you're making a movie, they draw little pictures of what the scenes are going to be. That's what I do. So I'll put chapter 1, brother to brother is in love with sister to sister. Chapter 2, sister to sister finds out brother to brother slept with his father. That's all I write. Each chapter, that's it. Then once I'm done, I go and I create the chapters. So I know I don't forget nothing. The subplots are already written in the storyboard I made. And I could write a book in a day, I'll be done. The quickest book I ever wrote was my first. I wrote the book in 4 days. That's a 600-page book, which is the King of Erotica 1. I wrote that in 4 days, and I was done. The King 2 I wrote in I think 5.5 days. The King 3 I wrote in about 5 days, and the King 4 I wrote in 3 months because it's a little emotional. I had to dig into the rapes the characters went through. I had to dig a little more into the abuse. So it's very painful for me because I had to relive what I went through as a kid to write this book. So that's why it took 4 months. So I have 3 alter egos when I write. Larry Wilson, the man who has flaws in his own life, the man that lives with HIV and takes his medicine every morning, the man half the world want to sleep with, but I'm insecure about my body and my looks. I'm the Pharaoh 69, the author. He's the puzzle solver, problem solver. He can put the stories together and juxtapose it and make people love it. Then I'm the King of Erotica, the part of me that protects Larry and the Pharaoh, the part of me that don't give a fuck what nobody got to say, the part of Larry that will cuss you the hell out if you don't like his work. And he'll tell you in his book, bitch, if you don't like it, go read Danielle Steele. He takes no punches. That's how he writes in the book. If you ever read it, book 1, he says that. I don't care who likes my writing or not. As long as you get something from it, my job is done. I'm not trying to make any of you bitches happy. I'm trying to teach you something that people trying to get you HIV. That's my mission. That's how he is. He hardcore. He doesn't care. So I'm all 3 when I write a book.
Wow, that's what's up. Now, next question I wanted to ask is that while you're writing, I know with me, I wrote a few little stories here and there on BGC, but it's so hard. You
gotta give me the names on so I can check them out.
It's under NO_boy. You commented some of my stories.
Oh, yeah. I done read so many stories on that, but I read almost everybody's stuff. So you might have to tell me which one it is again so I can go back and look. But I read, and they love that. I actually read the stuff on there. I'll take maybe a 2-3 hour break, and I'll sit there and I read everything and I'll comment on it or what I feel they can work on. But I never say nothing negatively, never. Because, if you say something negative, you can potentially hurt a aspiring author. And I don't really care about feelings as the King of Erotica. That's why I read people's story as Larry, because that's the part of me that does care. If I read it as the King of Erotica, I'm going to have something negative to say about even yours, even mine. I mean, I criticize myself more than anybody. So I actually read the stories on there, and there's some amazing talent on there.
Yes, there is. So, I want to ask. Oh yeah, I know for me, I'm a person that's very easily distracted. So like when you're writing a book, do you just block everything out from the outside world and just concentrate on that book? And is that how you're able to write it so quickly?
Let me tell you something. You want something done, get it done. If you go to work on somebody's clock and the white man is paying you, Are you going to stand behind the register and talk on your cell phone? Or are you going to have it
not.
off? No, exactly. So when I write cell phones off, period. If you're getting raped, don't call me because you're going to be one rape bitch. I write. I'm just being real. If you get murdered, don't call me. You're going to be one dead ass in the alley because my phone don't sound or off. The voicemail go pick up, and the voicemail ain't good on bringing me messages back. No internet. I actually unconnect the internet from my computer when I'm writing. I have no access to the outside world. I cut the house phone off. I lock myself in my room butt naked. I have my incense lit that smell like marijuana. I write Rhythm Nation in my ear, and I have my candles lit. I have encyclopedias, thesaurus, dictionaries open, biblical, historical books open all around me. So